There's no way any of this is actually like enforceable, because then your grandma could be arrested for saying that, like, hey, women are actually just as capable as men.
Is using the memory of the Holocaust in order to justify what they are doing to the Gazans is a complete insult to the memory of the Holocaust. And we stand repeated in the last few demos carrying placards hanging from the neck saying this survivor of the Holocaust is against the genocide in Gaza. And we also demonstrate against the conflating of Jewishness with Zionism, which is what the Israeli state is trying to do, which does nothing else but increases anti-Semitism. So we are trying to counter that by demonstrating that Jews and Holocaust survivors are against that. We have tremendously warm reception and appreciation from.
You know what pissed me off a lot? I had multiple tweets calling out a Israeli VTuber who proudly served in the IDF and said that she would do it again. I had people be like, "Oh, you're a German dunking on a Jew. That's not a good look." And it's like, I'm not calling someone out for being Jewish. It's not anti-Semitic to, say that like these Zionists are doing a genocide and they're using religion as a shield in order to justify it, which is like horrible and absolutely insane. This is not me going after a poor little VTuber, poor little Jewish VTuber who is just out here trying to do like her own little content. It is someone who proudly served in the IDF and is talking about doing it again, receiving backlash for this. I saw this tweet being like, I am friend with a VTuber named Nev and she is from Israel and receives a lot of hate. She can't control what country or conflict she was born into. This poor VTuber from Israel receives hate for things she can't control, looks inside, proud of serving in the IDF, supports the genocide in Gaza, is transphobic, harasses trans people, spreads fake screenshots to label me a pedo. And people are like, you're a German going after a Jew, history repeating itself. And it's like, I'm calling out someone who is actively advocating, justifying, and downplaying genocide. It's like, it's not hate to say that, like, hey, you're actually justifying a genocide. That is insane. That is wild. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't get backlash for contributing and saying that I would proudly serve in the IDF again and contribute to a genocide. There are literally videos out there of Israelis protesting because they want to actually assault the Palestinian hostages. It's crazy to me how people are so detached from everything, and then they're like, oh, you're using being trans as a shield. And they turn around and it's like justifying and downplaying a genocide. And you know the reason why? Is because Palestinians are Muslim. Because like the Islamophobia just being ingrained in everyone. Also because of the whitewashing of the Holocaust and like Jewish people. Being like, oh, it's a white on white genocide, which is like obviously not the case because Jewish people weren't seen as like the superior Aryan race. They've also been like seen as other and ostracized, and there was like racial impurity and whatnot. But then like people are now like backing it up because they see people from the skin color that look like them doing something to those they deem as other. Then it's okay. And calling that out is actually anti-Semitic. The thing is, like, Zionists are always cozying up and buddying up with white supremacists and neo-Nazis. Why is that? Nazis also Roman, Gypsy, and Slavs. Yeah. Also trans people, gay people, disabled people, anyone that they deemed as unworthy of life. And they treated them worse than animals. Which isn't even always true. There are a lot of Christians as well in Palestine. Oh yeah, like the thing is like for them, it's just like, oh, the skin color determines the religion. Don't forget German oppositions like communists. Yeah, and then it's also like it doesn't matter if someone is actually a communist or not. It just matters that they can convince enough people that the target that they want to eliminate is a communist or socialist. The pink triangle victims continued to have it worse when the Americans came and liberated them. The thing is, like, they freed everyone except the ones with the pink triangle. Isn't that interesting? Those with the pink triangle were never liberated. And now we need to be, like, thankful for Christians for saving us. It's not like I have it so much better, like in a Christian country. Not like the community is open and respecting of me being trans. The same way that they are like pinkpilling, like a genocide, being like, oh, this gay couple, these gay IDF soldiers are like in a war zone right now and they're getting engaged. Yeah, but then they have to like invade another country in order to get married. Because they can't get married in Israel. Being trans in Israel is also not that much better. It's like, yeah, maybe you have like access to healthcare to some extent. That's more than what is happening in Gaza, where nobody is having access to healthcare. But you still face discrimination and so on. You still have like the social stigma. You know, just because you can, I don't know, get married in a different country and it's being like acknowledged as like a valid union when you move to Israel, it doesn't mean that like being LGBTQ is so much better in Israel. It's the same way that they are saying that like in the United States, actually, rights to trans people don't actually have. And then it's like, oh, Trump threatens to shut down U.S. government unless Democrats agree to ban all trans healthcare. Proposed legislation behind the impending US government shutdown contains provisions that would ban federal funding for transgender adults as well as youngsters. It's never just about kids. It's about like in general getting rid of like life-saving medical treatment. And what happens when you ban HRT for trans people who are already like transitioning? It just makes it worse. Not having any hormones to function, not having like your dominant hormone anymore, it just makes it so much worse because your body needs your body needs it. Like I suffered a long time before I adjusted my dosage, my estrogen dosage, because my testosterone was like in the gutter immediately, but I didn't have enough estrogen to like actually function to work. So I was basically menopausal. I had the same symptoms. I was depressed. I was exhausted the entire time. I was struggling to literally just get out of bed. And it's just because of hormones. But yeah, this is literally just to slowly trans people. And we have to be thankful for it because like I am allowed to criticize it in like a Christian nation. They turn around and they are like, oh, the Trump administration isn't only targeting organizations or group, but even individuals and entities whom NSPM 7 says can be identified by any of the following indicators of violence: anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration, whatever the fuck that means, extremism on race. Oh, saying that like, hey, maybe people of color aren't inherently inferior because of their race. Extremism on gender, you being gay or trans or being a femboy or whatnot, can be considered and labeled as extremism on gender. They leave it vague because then they can go after anyone that they don't like. Hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family. Hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on religion. And hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on morality. Whatever the f that means. This is straight up fascism, and people are, not realizing that this is going to hurt them as well, even if they hold traditional values, even if they are Christian or whatnot. There will be some view that could get you arrested. And SPM 7 is a huge First Amendment violation and is strictly unconstitutional. It's not even going after like extremists and whatnot. It's literally like criminalizing thoughts, views that do not fit into the fascist government. A pre-crime endeavor preventing attacks before they happen is core to the post-9/11 concept of counterterrorism itself. This is turning America into even more of like a surveillance state and like a fascist government, like a dictatorship. That is the goal. That is what Trump is doing. It's scary. And then people are like, why is a German talking about American politics? It's because like American politics impacts Germany as well, because a lot of the things that are happening in America are shaping German politicians, German conservatives, German right-wing parties, and like with Elon Musk meddling with like German politics, UK politics, and so on, world politics, pushing, like using X to push AfD propaganda more and more, like I have to speak out about it because this is literally incredibly dangerous and it's shaping the entirety of the West. It is history repeating itself, but at a much larger scale and in a so incredibly dangerous way. But it's all fear tactics. Right? All of these things are literally just because, like, Trump is scared. There's no way any of this is actually, like, enforceable because then your grandma could be arrested for saying that, like, hey, women are actually just as capable as men. Extremism on migration. Hey, maybe we shouldn't have, like, a white-only United States. Maybe immigration is actually good. Maybe having like cultural diversity and so on is actually good. No. That's dangerous and bad, and you should be sent to jail or like some plague-side. It's just insane. The Republican Party is so groomed and brainwashed into believing anything that like Trump is saying and not challenging anything that he is doing. There's no pushback and so on. That, you know, they're literally just like waving it off. Do you agree that violence is necessary in some cases to combat the rise of fascism? I agree that political violence is actually in everything. Even ICE, if you support the police, if you support ICE, if you support the FBI and so on, you support political violence. I'm never going to sit here and be like that people should take up arms and start shooting up people. I will never sit there. You will never get me to support any of that. But like, you know, protesting, having the right to protest, having the right to peaceful protest, having that destroyed and having like riots break out because, you know, the American Gestapo is just like throwing tear gas into things with like the what is it, the King's March protests and so on. These things are going to escalate further and further. The reason why there were the Stonewall riots is because the police made it that way. They went in there, started like assaulting trans women and gay people and so on, and people just had enough. Like if you're sitting there and you're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to like protest. We're just going to have like people protest and quietly like go in there, and then the police rolls up and they throw tear gas into the crowd and they are shooting rubber bullets incorrectly. That is actually like causing severe injuries. Who is actually making it violent? So people have to like speak out about it, and like I can't do much. I'm just like sitting here and like talking about it, trying to be as much of a voice as I can. One of the only reasons why I'm like active on Twitter so much is because, you know, I'm pushing back against the narrative, even if it doesn't reach enough people, even if it can't convince all of the brainwashed and indoctrinated people. It's just like you still gotta like talk about it and be visible, like speak out about like the insane things that are like happening in the world right now.